Congratulations for choosing Charity Tracker to serve you and your organization. As the administrator, there are certain tools that you can utilize to shape Charity Tracker and your goal tracking to fit like a hand in glove. What we would like to do now is take you through those steps, those processes, and share with you how to set them up. To do so, I'd like to introduce you to my teammate, Kyle Minkler. Kyle?
Hi there, my name is Kyle Minkler, and I'm a member of the Charity Tracker support team. Congratulations on starting your Charity Tracker network. What I'd like to do today is focus on the administrative side of things. You likely have already seen the Charity Tracker system through a recorded demonstration or a one-on-one over-the-phone presentation, and today's administrative training session is a continuation of that, specifically focused for the network administrator roles. There are three roles of a network administrator that I'd like to highlight today. First off, the administrative tools, number one, allow you to set up and customize your Charity Tracker system. Today we'll talk about customizing your system to meet the needs of your agency and the other agencies there on your network. Number two, as a network administrator, you're the gatekeeper. You can manage the agencies and agents that have access to your system. We'll talk about how, as a network administrator, you can add agencies to your network. Also, you can approve or deny membership requests that are made by other agencies in your community. Lastly, we'll look at ongoing maintenance. There are several administrative tools that help you manage your Charity Tracker network from the start and down the road. You may need to merge client case files together, make adjustments to demographics or assistance categories, or make many other changes to the system. You can do that from this point forward as network administrator. Let's switch over to a demo site now and look at each of these three roles of a network administrator. When you first log into your Charity Tracker account, you'll see a screen that looks very similar to this. On the left, you'll notice a couple buttons, and in the top right, you'll see some colored tabs. The first tab that we're brought to is the white Home tab. All agents on your network see the Home, My Agency, and Agencies tabs. The red Admin tab is reserved only for the network administrators. As we go through, I'll show some other features that are only seen by network administrators. For example, on the Home tab, below the Community Dashboard and above the Bulletin Board section, there's a welcome message area. I would encourage you to update this welcome message to make a personalized welcome screen for anyone who logs in. Just simply click the blue edit link out to the right. Type your message and click Save Changes. In that welcome message, you can include links, your contact information, anything you think may be helpful for others. Additionally, on bulletins, assistance records, notes, alerts, whether you enter them in or not, if anyone entered anything into the system, as a network administrator, you should see a delete link to the right. So if you noticed a bulletin was added in error or is out of date and you want to remove it, you can do so. As an administrator, you can click the delete link and remove that bulletin. Let's start with the first of the three roles of a network administrator. If you recall, number one was setting up and customizing your network. The first place I think we should start is on the Add New Case screen on the left. On this intake screen, there are fields that are here by default. These default fields are outlined in a document that we can send you called the Default Datasets. We ask that you review the default datasets to see what fields you'd like to keep on this Add New Case screen, what fields you may want to remove or hide, or even there may be some fields you want to make required, where a new case cannot be entered in unless that particular field is satisfied. Our Charity Tracker support team can help you remove, add, or make certain fields required depending on your needs. Please reference the default datasets document that we've emailed you. I'd like to highlight some of the changes quickly that can be made. On the Add New Case screen, the only two required fields are first and last name. We see that these fields are denoted with a red asterisk out to the right. If there was other fields you wanted to make required, like date of birth, street address, county, phone number, and so on, just let us know and the Charity Tracker support team can make those fields required for you. In your opinion, there might be some fields that are too much information. If you want to remove fields like suffix, maiden name, nickname, or if your network does not use social security number, we could remove that field as well. The phone number field and also identification number fields towards the bottom can be removed. As you may recall, the Add New Case screen is made up of 3 different sections. Here at the top, we see the identification section is currently showing. We could click on Income and Expenses or Demographics to go to those corresponding tabs. The Income and Expenses section can be removed entirely. If you don't want to use the Income and Expenses section, we can take that right off the screen for you. Also, if the income and expense sections are too detailed for you, we can switch the income sources to a simple income field where you type whatever that amount is, either monthly or yearly, and record the income as a simple income field. Our support team is standing by if you want to make any of those changes. Clicking back to the Identification tab, one more significant change that we can make for you is down towards the bottom. For phone numbers and identification numbers, there's a box there that says Description. In this description box, you can type a detailed description of the phone number. For example, home, mother's cell phone, etc. If you don't want the description box as a text field that can be typed into, we can replace this text box with a drop-down of set options, such as home, work, cell, or other. Same thing with the identification numbers description. We could put in there a drop-down list of identification numbers, client numbers, and so on. The drop-downs can also be included under the Income and Expenses section. Clicking back to that section, you'll notice that there's a name for each income source. You could type in there part-time job or Social Security, for example. If you'd rather provide our support team with a list of possible income sources and/or a list of expenses that are commonly used, we can replace these text boxes with drop-down menus of set options. As a side note, whenever we do replace a text box with a drop-down, the ability to type in those boxes is no longer available. Just to reiterate, any changes that we've talked about so far on the Add New Case screen are done by our support team. Just call us or email us and we can make those adjustments for you. The third tab, Demographics, are completely customizable lists of fields. We have fields like gender, which is a radio button option, race, which is a drop-down menu, education, employment, marital status, government benefits, which is a checkbox which allows you to select more than one option under that demographic field, and other. If you need to make changes to the list of demographics that are here on the Add New Case screen, you as a network administrator can make those changes. To do so, you'll visit your red Admin tab. Let's go there now. If we want to make adjustments to the demographic fields found on the Add New Case screen, we go here under Demographics. We can add a new demographic field from scratch by clicking the Add Demographic button, or we can edit an existing demographic. In our example, we want to edit the race demographic. Out to the right of race, we would click the Edit link to make changes. On the screen that appears, we can rename this. We can change the type of the demographic and select from either checkbox, which allows for multiple selected options, radio buttons, which only allows for one option to be selected, but it lists out each option so you can see that right on the Add New Case screen, or drop-down menu, which saves space on the screen. You have to click the drop-down arrow to see all the options. I'll leave this drop-down. I can also change the section where on the Add New Case screen this demographic field appears. I can select from Identification, Income and Expenses, or Demographics, which is the default section. If you needed additional sections to be added, again, please reach out to our support team and we'd be happy to help you. For each demographic option, we can select whether it's required or optional. All demographic options are set as optional from the start, but you could make it required by checking that box. Household demographic. When this is checked, this demographic applies to all household members. An example of how this works is, let's say we had a demographic called residential status. Everyone that lives together in the same household would share the same residential status. If the residential status was changed from renting to own on one person in the household, it would also need to be changed from renting to own for everyone else in the household. This automatically is done for you. Archive this demographic. If there's a demographic field that's no longer needed, you can archive it. All the data is saved in the database, but it no longer appears on the Add New Case screen. You could come back and unarchive this demographic at any time and run a report on it. Below that, we have our options. To the right of each of the options that are already there, we could rename or delete any of them, or we could add additional options by clicking this link that says Add Option. Finally, we could include an Other field as an additional option. On some demographics, you don't want just a set list, you also may want a text box where you can type other details. This checkbox allows you to do that. When we're done making adjustments, we can click Save Changes. To the right of any of these demographic fields, you can also move up and move down. You can reorder the demographics to meet your needs. The categories list here under the Admin tab should also be reviewed. You can reference this on the default datasheet document. If you recall, categories are used on assistance records. If we were to go under any client's case and then click under their assistance section and then add a new assistance record, on this assistance record, a category must be selected. The categories are sorted into different sections like food related, household related, housing, lodging, and so forth. The sections are the red lettered words. The categories under each section are in black font. You can manage your categories list under your Admin tab. To manage the sections, you can click the Manage Category Sections button. We could rename or delete any of the category sections or add new sections. To add new categories, we click the Add Category button on the right. We could also edit or delete any existing categories. Let's add a new category real quick to get the feel for it. We click the Add Category button. I want to add a new food-related category called Christmas Meal. We select our section, which would be food, name the category. We could put a description if we want. We could also set a default amount. Whenever this category is selected, the amount would default to whatever number we put in here. Same thing with unit. And the network default is typically the unit dollars. If you would prefer another unit to automatically populate when this category is selected, we could select that particular unit. I'll choose items. Fixed value is optional. If every time a Christmas meal is distributed, it had a certain fixed value amount, we could put that in this box. I'll say each Christmas meal is equal to $18. The number of Christmas meals that are distributed will be multiplied by the fixed value $18. If we provided 2 meals, it would equal $36 total value. I'll click Add. The categories that are added here under the Admin section are network-wide. The network-wide categories are denoted by this globe icon out to the left of each category. We can see the definition above. Each agency on the network can add their own categories to the list that you set up as the network administrator. However, they can't adjust or edit the categories that you set up. So basically, under their My Agency tab, each agency can set up their own categories in addition to the categories that you've already set up. This provides some flexibility. If you don't want that to happen, just contact our support team and we can turn that off for agencies where they have to use network-wide categories that you've established. Another area of settings that you may want to look over is found under your Admin tab under the Settings subtab. Here we find a blue link that says Edit Network Settings. On the Edit Network Settings dialog box, we can see that there's different sections that we can click through, starting with the General Settings. Starting first with the network name. The name of your network can be adjusted here. The Primary Administrator. Each Charity Tracker network can have more than one network administrator. However, one of those administrators must be set as the primary admin. If that ever needs to change, you can adjust that here under Edit Network Settings. Inactivity timeout. This is a network-wide setting which will log out any Charity Tracker user after a period of inactivity. 30 minutes is the default amount, but you could make that as little as 10 minutes or 4 hours. Allow agencies to add private cases. Every network at the start does not allow agencies to add private cases. You can change that by checking this box. If you are working with organizations that need to be able to add case files to the system that are only viewed by their agency, then you can choose this option. As a side note, when you do allow agencies to add private cases, there would be duplicates potentially in your database. One case could be a shared case, the other case could be marked as private, but essentially they're two cases for the same person. The agency that added the private case would see both cases. An agency that only sees the shared case would only see that one case file. So keep that in mind. We can explain that further if you have any questions. On all report summaries, it breaks down totals based upon age. We see here in this site, the children are age ranges 0 to 17, adults 18 to 59, and seniors 60 and up. We can edit these age ranges or delete them over here on the right. We can even add new age ranges. Each network has a release of information form that we provide. If you want to upload your own ROI or your own release of information form to override the form that we provide to each of our networks, you can do that. You just click here to upload a custom ROI form. If you have a logo that represents your collaborative or your organization, you can click to change this image. And this will change the logo on your login screen as well as what's sitting in the top left corner of Charity Tracker at all times. Additionally, the Edit Network Settings section is where you go to adjust the units list. On an assistance record, you must select an amount, a unit, and a category. You can add new units here or rename or delete any existing units. Your network will likely start out with 3 units: dollars, boxes, bags, and pounds. It might be helpful to add others like hours, items, meals, and so forth. Counties. On the Add New Case screen, here's where you go to populate that empty counties drop-down list. You go to Edit Network Settings and then click on the Counties tab. Funding sources. This is an additional piece of information that can be collected on an assistance record. If you choose to include funding sources here, this allows you to specify not only what type of assistance was provided, but where did that funding come from for the assistance. Funding sources are managed network-wide here under Edit Network Settings. For the Request Referrals feature of the Plus level, every request that's made to an agency can be referred to another organization on the network. Every request must have a status associated with it. The statuses that you'll see in your list are pending, completed, or denied. Just like the previous tabs, if you want to rename or delete any of these options or add new request statuses, you can do so here. If we made any changes to our Edit Network Settings dialog, we can click Save Changes or Cancel to close this window. I'd like to also bring to your attention the Outcomes tab. Under a client's case, a list of goals can be set up for a client, and work can be done with that client to reach certain outcomes. The outcomes lists are managed by the network administrator. You'll see those on the default data sheet as well. The outcomes, just like the categories we saw earlier, are organized into different sections like financial, social support, career, education, income, and health. You can manage those sections by clicking the Manage Section button. Out to the right of every goal, you'll see an edit or a delete link to the right. You can edit or delete any existing goals. You won't see a delete link to the right of anything that's already being used. If that goal is being used on a client's case, then the goal will not be available to be deleted. We can add new goals by clicking the Add Goal button. On the screen that appears, we need to choose an Outcomes section that it falls under, and then we can name it whatever we want. Every goal has an associated status. The statuses are managed here under the Manage Status button. The complete and non-applicable statuses are not able to be customized, but the other ones are. That concludes the first topic of this administrative training. We wanted to talk about the Add New Case screen, the demographics, categories, and outcomes fields, even the Edit Network Settings dialog. Another very important role of a network administrator is to be the gatekeeper. We here at Charity Tracker don't know who needs to be a part of your collaborative, but you do. As a network administrator, you can add agencies to your system or approve membership requests that may be submitted from your login screen. You may have noticed on your login screen something.charitytracker.net. Also on that login screen there's a button that says Request Membership. That's there for agencies that may have heard of Charity Tracker and want to be a part, but are not yet connected. They can submit a membership request. If anyone does that, an email will be sent to the primary administrator, notifying them that a request has been submitted for membership. You'll then visit your admin tab and then click on the Membership Requests sub-tab. We currently see 0 membership requests, but if we did have one pending, it would have the number 1 here, and then below in this screen it would say any specific details about the agency and the agent at that agency that actually submitted the request. There would also be a green button that says Approve, which you would click to approve that agency's access, or a red button that says Deny. You rarely deny membership requests unless it's from an agency that you don't want to work with, or for some reason they make it to your login screen by mistake and submit a membership request to the wrong network. If that ever happens, just let our support team know. That way we can follow up with that agency and get them connected to the right network. If there's an agency that you know wants to be a part of Charity Tracker and you don't want to go through the membership request process, as a network administrator, you can bypass that membership request process altogether. Just visit your admin tab, and then on the right there's a button that says Add New Agency. On the screen that appears, we fill out some basic information about the agency that we're adding. Once that information is entered in, we will want to also enter in the name of the primary contact, or the agency administrator. That's the point person for the agency that will be added to the system first. This is typically a pastor or a secretary or a director of an agency that you want to be the administrator of that agency. They're not network administrators, they're just in control of their particular agency. We'll enter in that person's name and email address. Below that, we'll see a field where we can enter a password. This is optional. You don't have to give this person a password, and if you leave these fields blank, they'll be emailed immediately with a link to set up their own password. You can, however, give them a generic password that you are aware of so you can help them log in that first time, and then tell them to change their password to something that you're not aware of. Either way will work. In this example, I'm going to leave the password fields blank, so Joey Yarber can set up his own password. The last step is to select who will pay for this agency's use of Charity Tracker. There are 2 options. I will pay for this agency, or this agency will pay for itself. If you are the one sole funder for your network and you want to put them under your billing umbrella, this agency, when they're added, they will be put under your billing account if you select I will pay for this agency. If you select this agency will pay for itself option, the organization can set up billing directly with us here at Charity Tracker. At the bottom of the screen we click Add Agency, and just like that, an email will be sent to Joey or the agency administrator, and they'll have access to the system then. If you needed to add additional agents to the agency we just added, we could do that here by clicking the Add Agent button under the First Baptist Church screen. If we needed to add additional agents at our agency, we click on our blue My Agency tab, and that will bring us to My Agency screen, where I can click Add Agency here and add additional staff members. Let's say I have a teammate named Todd White that I need to add. I click the Add Agent button here, enter in Todd's information, and then click Add Agent. Todd will get an email right away notifying that he's been added. If we need to change the password for any agent on our network, as a network administrator we can do that. We just find to the right of anyone's name the blue Change Password link. We could also edit anyone's information. I'm going to edit Todd White and make a change. The default agent role for anyone added is agent. Unless, however, you're the first person being added for your agency, then you're what we call an agency administrator. The highest level of access is a network administrator. The only person that is defaulted to the network administrator is the first person on Charity Tracker. If you need to adjust anyone's role, you could do so here. If Todd needed to be a network administrator alongside me, I could change his role up to the network administrator level. If Todd no longer worked for our organization, we could disable his access by checking the checkbox that says Disable Login for this agent. When this checkbox is checked, Todd will no longer have access to the system. If Todd did not receive his welcome email, we could also resend it by clicking this little link here. Those are just a few tips you might find helpful related to adding new agencies and the agents at those agencies. The third and final topic I want to discuss today relates to ongoing maintenance. As a network administrator, there may be some things you need to adjust in the months and years to come. This maintenance may include, but not limited to, merging or deleting of duplicate cases in the system, as well as adjusting the system based upon feedback from your partner agencies. If there was a duplicate case in the system, anyone on your Charity Tracker can click in the bottom right a link that says Flag Case. Here in the screen in the bottom right of this client, John Smith, because we're an administrator, we see Merge Case and Delete Case as our options. Everyone else who's not a network administrator sees Flag Case. It's a way to send a message to the network administrator notifying them if a case needs to be deleted using the Delete Case link or merged together using the Merge Case link. It's at your discretion whether the case be deleted or merged. The Flag Case button just allows someone to notify you of that situation. You normally merge a case if there's two case files that belong to the same person. It's like you're taking two files out of a filing cabinet and taking the contents out of one and adding it to another, so you end up with just one file for that person. There's also a utility found on your admin tab called Duplicate Cases. This is a search that you can run periodically. You do this as often as every week or every 6 months. It really depends on how much time you want to put into this. But what this does is it runs after hours on our servers and provides you a list of possible duplicates. You could then go through that list of possible duplicates and either merge them together if the two cases do represent the same person, or mark it not a duplicate, and that particular combination of cases will not show up in future reports. In the top right, there's a button that says Contact Admin that everyone on your network sees. You may periodically receive a message from the Contact Admin button. It will be sent to you via email. This message may include something like a request for a new demographic to be added on the Add New Case screen. If so, you could log into your admin tab and go to your demographic sub-tab and make the change. Or they may need a new global category added. You can make that adjustment by clicking the Categories sub-tab. Just a few examples of how the network administrator is responsible for some ongoing maintenance. Let's review what we talked about today. Those are just a few tips you might find helpful related to adding new agencies and the agents at those agencies. The third and final topic I want to discuss today relates to ongoing maintenance. As a network administrator, there may be some things you need to adjust in the months and years to come. This maintenance may include, but not limited to, merging or deleting of duplicate cases in the system, as well as adjusting the system based upon feedback from your partner agencies. If there was a duplicate case in the system, anyone on your Charity Tracker can click in the bottom right a link that says Flag Case. Here in the screen in the bottom right of this client, John Smith, because we're an administrator, we see Merge Case and Delete Case as our options. Everyone else who's not a network administrator sees Flag Case. It's a way to send a message to the network administrator notifying them if a case needs to be deleted using the Delete Case link or merged together using the Merge Case link. It's at your discretion whether the case be deleted or merged. The Flag Case button just allows someone to notify you of that situation. You normally merge a case if there's two case files that belong to the same person. It's like you're taking two files out of a filing cabinet and taking the contents out of one and adding it to another, so you end up with just one file for that person. There's also a utility found on your admin tab called Duplicate Cases. This is a search that you can run periodically. You do this as often as every week or every 6 months. It really depends on how much time you want to put into this. But what this does is it runs after hours on our servers and provides you a list of possible duplicates. You could then go through that list of possible duplicates and either merge them together if the two cases do represent the same person, or mark it not a duplicate, and that particular combination of cases will not show up in future reports. In the top right, there's a button that says Contact Admin that everyone on your network sees. You may periodically receive a message from the Contact Admin button. It will be sent to you via email. This message may include something like a request for a new demographic to be added on the Add New Case screen. If so, you could log into your admin tab and go to your demographic sub-tab and make the change. Or they may need a new global category added. You can make that adjustment by clicking the Categories sub-tab. Just a few examples of how the network administrator is responsible for some ongoing maintenance. Let's review what we talked about today. The 3 roles of a network administrator include the setup and customization of your charity tracker. You're also the gatekeeper. Number 2, you can manage the agencies and agents on your collaborative. Number 3, ongoing maintenance such as merging duplicate cases or deleting cases, even updating fields in the system are responsibilities of the administrator. In closing, there's a few things that I want to bring to your attention that you can do just as soon as you log into your live charity tracker. The first thing you may want to do is visit your Home tab, and on that welcome message, click the blue edit link and create a personalized message for your charity tracker. Another thing, it's very important for you to review the default datasets document that we have emailed you. If you did not receive a copy of that, feel free to email us and we'll get that to you right away. The default datasets document looks at the Add New Case fields. If there's any changes you want to make there, just go ahead and email or call our support team. Adjusting the demographics list on the Add New Case screen, that's done under your Admin tab. Also, the categories, those are adjusted under your Admin tab as well. Take a look at the Edit Network Settings link that's found under your Admin tab and make any adjustments there. Remember, that's where you change the units, the counties, and even rename your network. Finally, when you're ready to go, you can add agencies and agents to have a successful charity tracker network.
Thanks, Kyle. And thank you for your faith in Charity Tracker to serve you and your organization. If you have any questions about what Kyle just shared as to how to use the tools and set up the process, please let us know at the contact information contained on the screen. On behalf of all of us at Simon Solutions, we thank you so much for your belief and faith and our service to serve you. We're with you every step of the way if you ever have a need.